Hello, everyone. Welcome to Knightspeed. Week 10, we'll talk about the Baylor disaster in Waco and look on to Houston at the uh
Space game, right?
yeah, the space game. I'm
Ninth
so
annual space game coming up.
I guess we're 8-0 in that one.
Yeah, I think so. We
We're
haven't
8
lost a
0.
space game. Yeah, we haven't lost one. So,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
before that I'm wearing my space shoe t-shirt.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah, it's I mean, I'm still reeling from Saturday afternoon.
You
What
know,
a I guess I knew we were going to have one of these. I just thought it was going to be not this Friday, but I was thinking it was probably gonna be that against like Texas Tech,
right. Yeah.
going to Lubbock and then having them beat us, like 37-3. That's what I was thinking. Not against a team that has a defense that's ranked,
108th or something like that.
yes, in the lower one,
In
behind 100.
BCS. Yeah. And we had 2 weeks off. And I think Matt
Yeah,
was kind of saying that, well, we may have thrown too much. The defense obviously had 30 points scored against them, but they, after the kind of flex of the first two touchdowns, did pretty good. You know,
yeah, and you can't really blame them for the last touchdown because it was a pickoff and they got it on with their own 7 yard line.
right. Well, the offense was abysmal. And
Yes,
that, I thought we were past that, I guess.
yeah. Well, 255 total yards, and that makes it sound like they did something. They did
Yeah.
nothing all day. I mean, they're 1 of 11 on third down. You think about it, they got two first down. I'm sorry, two first downs on third down due to penalties because Baylor gave it to them, and they still
Right.
could do nothing. They had a long field goal, or they were even shut out. They were their offense, and again, I don't know if sometimes when you give uh, these bye weeks, if you're giving these kids too much time off. I mean, I'm all for rest and relaxation, but good gosh,
I
I
can't
just
tell you. Yeah. I don't know what they did on the off week. He, they weren't ready to play.
no. It,
And
it, and again, the stats show it. Well, if you watch the game, you could tell it was ugly from the opening kick. And again, we got down early and often against Baylor, just like we did with Cincinnati. I'm thinking, oh boy, here it is. We're going to get blown out. Now we stopped the bleeding against Cincinnati, but we really didn't stop it. And again, 30-3 really makes it sound like it was close because it was
right.
never
And it
it
was
was
never
never a
close.
game.
It was, yeah. It was like
And Baylor,
20 to 3 at halftime. So
yeah,
for an extra 10 the second half, but the offense just did nothing, absolutely nothing all game. And this is now starting to turn into a pattern.
what was the old saying, the chorus line offense, 1, 2, 3, kick.
Well, that makes you think, okay, is Taven Jackson, is he the answer? I don't know now.
Well, I think for right now, he's really the best we got. I mean, I'm
I'm
not gonna,
talking next year. At this point, we're,
yeah,
we're still fighting to get into a bowl, but
yeah,
you've also got to start going, it is what it is at this point. He's gonna have to coach with what he's got.
yeah.
But God, I don't know anymore. It's now turned into where the Houston game this weekend is a must win.
A must win.
We've got 4 games left. We've got to win 2 of them.
Yeah,
And 2 of them are against ranked teams, on the road, which it appears we cannot win on the road.
no,
So we got
we're
two
an entirely
games.
different team on the road.
Yeah, we got 2 games at home to try and salvage the season to get to a bowl.
Yeah,
It starts Friday night with Houston coming into town. And I know we're not ready to switch over to Houston just yet. We're still, but I don't know. I was one who thought with a week off, get some people healthy, things like that. Actually 2 weeks, before you play that, we'd have a better showing. And it just,
yeah.
mm,
Well, if you remember in the Baylor game, on their first drive, we had them on 3rd and 15, and they converted. They got 3rd and 21. So it's like that's.
well,
I mean,
the thing is the defense, I'm not really going to sit there and again, we flexed a little bit at the beginning of the game where we got 14 points on us. We
yeah,
we were driving when it was 14-0 and got down to the 13 and then just fell apart
Well,
and
of course,
came
we
away with
go,
nothing.
yeah, we go off tackle on third and one. Obviously, don't get it.
Right.
And then that fourth down call, what was that all about? I mean, if you look at that fourth down call, you have like a second, maybe third team lineman do a drag route who's well covered.
Right. Well,
He
he
has,
is a what is it? He is a new tight end. Is like they moved him from lineman to tight end.
yeah,
And he was, I think there was a penalty on him. He was pretty much grabbed. I mean, every which way. I mean, unfortunately, I only got to watch the highlights. So
yeah,
it's pretty little. I only got to see it on the kind of you know, a highlight film for what was it, the ESPN.
yeah.
I'm a subscriber of the YouTube, TV cable, so I didn't get the game.
But I'll tell you what, you didn't miss much.
No, I know. I did listen to
That
it.
was, yeah, it was a tough watch. And again, Baylor gave us all sorts of opportunities. Again, if we have a decent offense, I mean, we have one of our big plays.
Hmm.
Uh, I believe it was Montgomery. And again, it could have been Thomas. I'm not sure. Had a nice. It was Montgomery. He had a nice run around the end. Then all of a sudden, you get a penalty on them.
That
Make
negates
like
it. Oh,
yeah. Well, no, it was a penalty on Baylor.
right.
And then so we get like a 32, 3 yard gain out of this. And then you just hear
Something
the
to show for it.
with the air coming out. It
Right.
just totally deflated. And it was like we had so many times we were actually moving the ball, and then
Just
we,
implode. Right.
yeah,
And Baylor, didn't they have three personal foul penalties in that game? To were
hmm
45 yards in penalties and three penalties.
yeah,
And like you said, you had one play where you had a major play, and then you tack 15 yards on it, and still nothing came of it.
yeah.
Nothing. And you can't have that on the road.
Well, you're thinking about it again. We have 50 yards in penalties, which again, it's not bad,
Right.
but again, it happened at the worst time. We're talking about our third and twos again, where you
Right.
can't have these mental breakdowns, and we're having them still. And again, we're 10 weeks in.
Yeah. Again, I think Scott has got what he's got, and I think he's realized. Look, at this point, we're trying to get to a bowl. Now we got a 7-2 team coming in this weekend
Yeah.
that we've got to be able to figure out a way to beat. You know, and
hmm
then hopefully Oklahoma State doesn't get it together because I hear they're starting to show some life.
Yeah, which
Believe it or
that's
not.
that's not good for us.
It's at
That's
home
all
again, but yeah, I don't know.
all
It's
we need is Oklahoma State to have reason to play to try to salvage the season.
Yeah, there's a couple games on the schedule that we probably should have, well, we could have won.
hmm
Kansas being one of them.
Yeah,
And, you know, I'm not gonna
I
say the
can't say that
Cincinnati
about
game.
Baylor though. The Baylor game, we were never in that
Never
game.
in it.
That was the worst defeat we've had all year.
Right.
Kansas State, you say Cincinnati, really the worst defeat we had out of all four losses. That was the worst defeat, bar
Is
none.
we played so poorly.
Yeah, we haven't been beat like that 2 years.
Well, we have not scored a touchdown since the end of 2015.
Yeah,
And so when you have, and it's not like Baylor's defense is such a shutdown defense to where
again, they're above 100, and everybody in the country has run on. That's played them has run the
and we
ball on.
couldn't do it.
We couldn't even get 75 yards.
But we're on offense. We just had no consistency, and I think we were talking about that last week. We're like gonna have to be consistent. And it's gotten to the point to where it's like, you know, sometimes it only lasts a half. This game, I mean, and that's at home, I guess, is when you can kind of pull out of it. We're a better team at home than on the road, but we still got two games on the road.
Yeah,
Both games going to be on the road somewhere. We're not going to have to play that at home.
and they're both tough teams.
Right.
Texas Tech, which is a top 15 team, and you got BYU, it's a top 10 team
Right. And
out in Provo.
if we're lucky enough to get to a bowl, it's going to be a team with a winning record.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and it's I as much as I'd like to see us go to a bowl, do I really think we're going to show well in a bowl game?
Well, I think you always try to get the extra practice, right? To me, it
Yeah,
really doesn't matter how you do it in the. I mean, it's nice to win, obviously, because I think if we
yeah,
do win the bowl game, we'd finish with a winning record
yeah,
after kind of what we've been trending the last couple of years with the former coach. It would be nice to see that we kind of were able to kind of traject
yeah,
upward compared to where we've been going, but at this point, I don't see it. I really don't see it happening. And after Friday, we're going to be able to know what we are.
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, because of
Because I think if we lose Friday, we could probably lose the rest of them.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Like I said, it depends. The Oklahoma State really is kind of a big mystery, even if we are down in the dumps, because they are a true dumpster fire. But again, we have them at home. But again, if you've got
They're
no,
trying to get it together here. You
if
know,
you got nothing to play for, then I mean, do you show up? Does
but
coach say you
that's just
show
it.
up?
If we lose Friday night, I don't see these kids really working that hard to play for anything at this point. I mean,
Yeah,
you get to the point there at that, then well, we got 3 games left, two of them on the road against ranked teams, which I could see those kids kind of maybe going, well, that's it. I'm hoping for a good crowd Friday night,
yeah,
space game. Hopefully the students show up on a space game, but who knows at this point? You don't know what you're going to see on offense. That's I think the thing that kind of gets upsetting is that I don't know what's going to show up on offense on Friday night. Uh,
no,
It's
no,
like the receivers are not getting open now, it seems like. Um, the running backs can't seem to really kind of get any kind of momentum going. I mean, Dixon had what, 3 carries?
for 18 yards, a 6 yard average. Why is he not getting the ball more?
I do know, and I like Miles. I think Miles is a favorite of Scott's. But at this
Yeah,
point, you've got to sit there and figure out who your playmakers are. And I'm not sure, is Dixon able to come back or not? I'm not sure.
no, Nixon's done.
Okay, well then
He's done.
you should be playing the wheels off of that kid too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done. Which again, next year's running back room is going to look very interesting because you're going to have a lot of guys that really don't have a lot of snaps unless you go get somebody in the portal.
Yeah, well, you've got Tavian Swint should be ready to go. I mean, you've got some guys who can play. Now,
Yeah,
they played at the P4 level? No, I mean, you got Stacy Gage, who's now out because he had surgery.
yeah,
He would be back. I mean, the one neat nice thing about next year is everybody's back who you can kind of, you got Sincere Edwards, you'll have hopefully Lockett stays, things like that. I don't think we have a very high um, you know, payment out there of players to where we should be able to spend some money to retain some of them. A lot of these kids that were contributing should be back. You
yeah.
know, and
We have a lot of young receivers that have catches in multiple games. Um, Barring last game, that is, because again, we really didn't have a lot of lot to really kind of be happy about. I mean, Taven Jackson did spread it around, I guess, 18 times. So, but most of it really was to
how many yards do you have?
hit 151, 2 interceptions.
That's high school. That's awful.
Yeah, I
Especially
mean,
with Scott. You never expect Scott to have 151 yards throwing. That's my point about going, is he the guy? I mean, we're this late in the season now going, is this the guy?
well, again, I'm not going to blame him because I don't really think we have the deep threat right now. I really don't. I mean,
But you think Taven Jackson, if he had a deep threat, he would have scored more
well,
yardage
yeah.
and
I
points.
mean, you think about it. Chris Domercan had one catch for 8 yards. Nobody really got open in the third level.
Hmm.
And again, with that, I mean, that's when you're boxed into the first two levels of the defense,
Right.
it's really going to make it tough to kind of do any kind of breakout. And again, we had a few plays that were over 20 yards with penalty help, but if you're going to have the penalty involved, it's still 17, 18 yards, which is a huge positive play. But again, we just couldn't keep it consistent at all. There was no consistency.
Right.
It was day and night between the West Virginia game and the Baylor game. But then again, in the West Virginia game, we don't get those two fourth down touchdowns.
Well, this is what's so just odd about this conference is that we have West Virginia that we literally took the task, man, at home. We
Good old behind the
beat them
woodshed.
every which way but loose, right?
Yeah.
And then they go into Houston this past
Hmm.
weekend and beat Houston. And they beat them by 10, but
Yeah.
I think Houston was never really kind of in that game.
No.
And that's what kind of gets me is that they scored 45 against Houston.
Well, Houston was in the game.
Okay.
They were in the game. But again, Houston had 4 turnovers. All right, let's wrap up Baylor here real quick. I guess you got anything
Okay.
else to say? I
No.
mean, again,
It
everything.
was a tough watch, a tough listen for sure. And watching I watched the highlights one time and said, this is just shelve it, forget about it, move on,
Yeah,
realize that this Friday is your season.
yeah. I can't even say it was mediocre. I can't even
Yeah,
say that.
I just
It
said
wasn't even.
shelve it.
It wasn't even a mediocre performance.
Don't
They,
think about it again. Just kind of
yeah,
move on from it.
they're a better team than that. I believe that. But again, there was nothing on, I guess, film that I could see, at least with the highlight and what I saw on Saturday, that they could actually hang their heads and say, "Yeah, we did this well." I mean, you could say, "Yeah, they did give up 2 early touchdowns and then 3 field goals," but again, you still give up 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals, which makes it 23 points. And when your team can't score, you know, 23 points, let alone 10 points,
Right.
and it doesn't really, because I'm not going to, that last touchdown, I'm not going to blame the defense for that. You can't give them a short field, let alone deep into the red zone, expect them to stop it with no points.
Right.
Now it hurt because again, the first 2 downs in that possession, they didn't get it, and they hit a late a third down touchdown pass, and that was with again Sawyer Robertson. He's a player with a lot of experience, right? Was he a fifth-year senior?
I don't know.
Yeah, I believe
I
he's
don't know.
so. And again,
But he's
he
a high
broke
powered he is a high powered quarterback.
yeah, he
That's one
broke
thing we
broke
did.
containment, and then there it was. So,
Okay. Yeah.
and again, when you have guys get out of containment and break the line of scrimmage and have more options, it makes it that much tougher to defend.
Right.
So, but yeah, Baylor, like I said, is behind us. I guess we don't play Baylor again until what, 2028?
I would guess so, but
Which
I don't know. I haven't
I
looked
say,
into.
good riddance. Maybe by 2028 we'll have a team that's filled
Yeah,
with.
Sawyer Robertson is a senior.
Okay, I thought he was a fifth-year senior though.
Well, he's a senior, so he's gone. So,
Yeah.
but I think we had problems with consistency on offense for sure,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it was dismal at times of just how inconsistent this offense was. And we've got to figure something out here. And we've got a good team, a good coach team. Like I said,
It is well
um,
coached. Very true.
the coach for Houston there, Willie. Um, God, I can't remember anybody's damn name anymore. But Willie Fritz. Uh,
Yeah.
he's a good X's and O's guy as well as he teaches really. He's a good coach and he's turned these guys around. I mean, wouldn't you be loving to be sitting right now at 7-2?
Absolutely.
And Trey Houston, I guess is they've beaten Stephen F. Austin, beaten Rice. I don't know how they did against Colorado. I think they
Oh, my
did.
mistake. We play Baylor next year. We play them at home next year.
At home? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got to get better. Definitely
Yeah.
gotta get better here. But we have, they beat Oregon State. I remember that game. And that took
Hmm.
a while to get there to beat them. But they lost to Texas Tech, right?
Yeah.
They beat OK State, did they?
Who's that?
We're talking Houston now. Have we moved on or no?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Houston has They beat Okie State. Okie State has one win. I don't think it was against anybody in the conference.
Okay. Did like Arizona?
Arizona, the Houston win or the Houston loss before Saturday.
Yeah, was to Arizona State or Arizona?
I think it was Arizona.
All right. So they're able to beat Arizona State too at Arizona State. If that's true, I mean, that tells me if they can beat them there, they can beat us here. You
No,
know,
I agree. Yeah, I mean, Houston did beat Arizona State in Arizona
we're going to
by
have to be able to
40.
score. We're going to have to be able to show that we can sit there and match scoring. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think we've been able to really do against a good team yet.
Hmm. Well,
We have a
again,
problem.
Arizona State only had 16 points in that Houston game.
So they lost. They beat Arizona State.
Yes.
Okay, so they lost to Arizona, beat Arizona State
Yep.
at Arizona State. That's a good win.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah,
That's a big win there,
I agree. I mean, that's a big time win.
which
But again,
tells me they can come in here and do the same thing.
how do you beat Arizona State like that, but then lose the next week to West Virginia? And
Yeah,
again, four turnovers.
yeah. That's just
And again, they got clobbered by Texas Tech.
yeah. Texas Tech and BYU are kind of the cream of the crop here of the conference,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Well, and that's what gets me about BYU is they're not gangbusters when it comes to recruiting. I mean, they recruit okay, they recruit well, but they don't have a roster filled with 4-star and 5-star kids.
What do we talk about, Matt? They're consistent though.
Hmm.
They're disciplined, and and they make plays.
Yeah.
That's the key. Just make plays. And that's
Yeah.
one thing that we've been lacking pretty much all year, with the exception of a few of the games that we've won. Like I said, the West Virginia game, we made plays.
Yeah.
The North Carolina game, we made plays. You know, Obviously we had the FBS or the FCS school come in that really wasn't much of a, to where it was easy to make plays against that school. But then with Jacksonville State, we made enough plays to win that.
Yeah. But if you look at Houston, their wins, okay, no, hear me out. Their wins are against Colorado, Oregon
Mhm.
State, Oklahoma State,
Right,
Arizona State, which again, I'll give them that's a good win,
right,
and Arizona.
right.
So, you know,
That's a
you
good
can't really say they've played the toughest teams in the conference. And the ones they did, like Texas Tech, they got clobbered in.
right. But again, I would love to be 7-2, Matt. You know,
No, I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, it's,
I mean,
scheduling is everything, right?
we're 4-4 here, and scrambling to where this could end real quick come Friday night.
Yeah, no, I agree.
This could be over with, and you'll still be able to say, well, we got 3 games left. We're gonna have to, score an upset. I don't see that happening with this offense. I think
Yeah.
we got good enough defense to play anywhere, and if we had an explosive offense, we could win anything. But the problem what we have is our offense is just lethargic at times, and
Yeah.
that's not going to win you games when you can't sit there and when you're throwing 150 yards and passing.
Yeah.
That means your quarterback is not producing, and he's not. I don't know if it's the receivers not being able to get open. I think the one kind of knock that we had with the receivers at the beginning of the season was not many of these receivers have P4 experience,
Yeah.
and I think that showed Saturday for sure.
Well, again, our receivers
They
again are
had-
still struggling with blocking and some of those
Right, they had a
bubble
tough time
screens.
getting open. Looks like,
Yeah.
so you know. Now, again, we have a lot of kids, I think, that have talent. Like Day Farmer is, he was lost for the season in spring, but he has P4 experience,
Yeah.
and I know he would have gotten a lot of play time, if he had have been healthy.
Yeah.
Um,
You got to look at the kids we have that are freshmen now. They're progressing. I mean, they're not
right.
getting, they're not riding away. They're progressing. But again, in this day and age of college football, do we keep them? I mean, or do they go someplace else? Who knows? You just don't know anymore.
Well, it always depends who comes calling for what do they offer, right? And you know, you got to remember some of these kids will leave if they're making more money and they're getting, obviously if they're not getting an opportunity to play here, yeah, you got to worry about them leaving. But then again, if they're not playing here, what do you care?
No, I
They're
agree.
costing you money anyway, you
Yeah.
know. But it's something that we're gonna have to figure it out real fast here. Because like I said, at 7-2, Houston comes in on Friday, and it just makes it hard if we can't put it together to put a win together. I mean,
Yeah.
for the space game, so to speak,
No,
right?
I agree. Yeah. It's again, I guess past history is on our side. Again, we're undefeated in the space game. I just I don't know. Like I said, it's going to be tricky because you don't know which teams are going to show up. Does
I
the
don't,
Baylor? Yeah,
I sure don't. I
you
mean,
know,
again, I thought Saturday's game was I wasn't expecting to win. Remember, I think I picked us to lose. You picked us
yeah.
to barely
I
win.
made that mistake of us winning. Yeah,
And but
yeah,
I didn't think it was going to turn into this. We just flopped. We didn't show up. I don't know if we got off the plane, you know.
yeah. It was well. It was
And
again our worst effort of the season.
yes.
But
And
again, if you look at Houston, Houston does well when they can actually get their offense rolling on the ground.
okay.
And again, you think about it, Houston runs the ball well too. I'm sorry, they throw the ball well.
Right. Well, they got a good quarterback, Houston.
Yeah, they throw the ball very well. But like I said, if they can run it, but again, what beat them? When we look at, uh, Baylor when they lost to Cincinnati. Again, they had multiple turnovers too, and that's really when we lost to West Virginia 2 years ago. What was it? What beat us in that game? Couldn't hold on the ball.
Right.
So again, we had, I guess, in the game last week against Baylor, we had what was it? One turnover or what? A fumble?
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah, we had
guess I
one.
don't know.
Yeah, we had one fumble.
Okay.
They had a fumble, no interceptions, and again, the fumble was indiscriminate, which really didn't help us.
No, well, yeah, like I said, we had such a lethargic offense. It didn't really matter if turnovers or anything. We weren't going to be in this game, you know. When you
It was
score
what like a
points
46
totals, you
yard
have
field goal
150
too.
points passing. What?
It was like a 46-yard field goal too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a
But
long
it was
field
no
goal.
gimme,
Yeah.
you know.
So again, we were almost shut out. We don't get that one, and it was the last play of the half.
Right. And I don't know what you do this week to get prepared to play a must-win game on Friday, which Houston's going to come in here with a must-win attitude as well. Now
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
bowl eligible.
Well, you remember, Mark, they lose last week, but they still scored 35 points. It just was tough to see that they let West Virginia score 45. I mean,
Right.
again, West Virginia did have more total yards than they did. Now, mind you, they didn't throw the ball, but they killed them on the ground. Now, is that any rec? I mean, but again, I
See,
thought we were going
the
to run
stinks
better
is that
last
we
week.
can't run. We
Yeah,
can't do that. We don't have a running offense. I'm
no,
so sick of getting to 3rd and 1 now, and it's getting to the point now to where we got to figure out some kind of way to pick up 1 yard and not run the ball. Well, we
yeah,
got to figure out somebody on that sideline who can pick up 1 yard. I don't know if that's Davi. There was this, well, Davi's not that good, or well, Davi, we got to think of something because
yeah,
it's not Taven Jackson. And it's not that line. I mean, to me, you've got to have somebody who can get out there who's quick enough and who has enough foresight to see where the hole is and get that yard.
yeah. And we haven't done it all year. We haven't
No.
got. We've had third and ones, fourth and ones all year long.
And Shakari
And
Brown, I guess, is back at this point, isn't he? I don't know.
well, and that's it. Maybe you put him out there.
Well, I think he's a little bit more of a dynamic runner than Taven Jackson is.
Well,
Um,
again, it just comes to probably breaking the contain. Also, if you get outside the defensive end, he gets it.
yeah,
We're trying to go between the tackles. And again, we haven't done it all year. Why are we still doing this? It's not working.
no, no, it's not. And I think when we try to pick up that 1 yard, you have uh, tight ends that are not very good blockers. They're good at catching the
Yeah.
ball, but they're not good at blocking. And then so that breaks down at least two guys in the backfield right there. And then we just don't have. I don't think we have enough of a guy that's holding the ball that's going to be able to pick up that yard no matter what.
Hmm.
Um, that's what I was thinking. It's angles. You know how it is, how they talk about angles and technique and things like that. Someone, like I said, Davi against West Virginia, Matt, when he picked up 10-yard that touchdown,
It
that
was
was
all
all
him.
him. That was all
Yeah.
him.
No, I agree. He did have a carry earlier in the game that wasn't as spectacular though.
No, I got you, but it still got more than a yard, or at
No,
least a yard.
what we have to do in this game and is tough is we've got to be able to keep Houston's offense off the field. If
No,
they can get on the field and do their long drives, we're in trouble.
yeah,
Because again,
I agree.
they will put an 8 play drive together, which again, they're aggressive. They like medium range passes. Medium range passes the most, but again, they'll go up top with it. They have a decent receiving core.
Willie Fritz, he knows this. He knows our team. I'm sure he's going to be prepared at least coming in.
Yeah,
And maybe he overlooked West Virginia, which I don't know how you do that, but maybe they did.
yeah.
Um, to me, it's one of those things to where we're going to have to figure out a way to move the ball and maybe keep Houston's offense off the field. I mean, we've had some classic games with Houston over the years.
No, I agree.
You know, um, I don't know if this week will be that classic. We've had games like I remember the 2013 win. It was so many weekends to if we lose this one, season's over.
Well, that was the home game we've been. What was it, 19-14?
Something like that. Yeah.
It was real tough. It was in the bounce house
What was that kid's name? The quarterback for them?
for Houston.
Acorn or Acorn? Yeah, remember that?
Yes,
And he went. He ended up at like Michigan or something like
it
that.
was Michigan. Yeah,
And yeah, we had a kind of a big play there at the goal line, to win the game in 13.
hold
Just
them
like
off.
I
Yeah,
remember in 14, we're at
they
their
were
place
they
and
were
we knocked
driving to
out.
beat us.
Yeah, we knocked out the ball right there at the one and went out of the back of the end zone, and that was
Touchback.
late in the game to where we
Yeah,
were able to win it that way.
yeah, and that's how we won the game.
You
It
know,
was a touchback. But you're right. They were going to close the game out on us.
yeah,
And
and
again, the guy had broke containment, got down to the one, and somebody punched the ball out. It went out the back of the end zone.
it was Alexander.
Yeah,
Yeah, that made a game saving play to
yeah.
knock the ball out right at the one that went out of the back of the end zone, and that changed the outcome of the game.
Hmm.
Um, like again, we've had some interesting games with Houston over the years, and it's going to be interesting to see if we can get something going. I don't know what kind of crowd we're going to have on Friday night. I don't know where I put but usually I like to check the weather at this point. Friday
Oh,
night.
it'll be cool. It'll be in the 60s.
So we got quite a
It'll be a cool game, and we won't be hot. But again, they're Houston. You're not gonna heat them out. They got hot weather also.
Well, I just didn't know if it was going to be a rainy one or something like that. To where it looks like we're going to have
Nice, beautiful night.
nice night. Orlando, Friday, 64 degrees at night,
Yeah.
83 in the daytime, but it's partly cloudy
Hmm.
so far. So we'll see. But I don't
Well, the funny
know,
thing about this too is if you look at the West Virginia Houston stats, West Virginia had eight penalties for 85 yards.
really. So
So they must have really had some big plays to actually have. Because again, you think about 8 plays or 8 penalties for 85 yards. A few of those have got to be drive stoppers.
yeah, I didn't see any of the highlights for the Houston West Virginia game. I probably should have peeked at it for our podcast tonight, but I was just kind of
Well, you think about it, Houston fumbled twice, had 2 interceptions. Because you think
okay.
about it, West Virginia still had to punt 6 times. So
Really?
nearly half of their possessions resulted in punts.
Well, they had 4 turnovers to where Houston. I mean, that's the kind of thing to where you ain't never going to
Plus,
win a game when you have four
yeah,
turnovers.
plus four, yeah. Yeah, because again, West Virginia had no turnovers.
But we had 2 against Baylor, didn't we? Didn't we have 2 interceptions?
Yeah,
And it was just not a good game, you know.
no.
Where
And again, one of them was very costly.
yeah, and we got to figure out a way to get more consistent. I know we've been saying that for the last couple of weeks of
Hmm.
consistency, and it's just not at this time of year you should be having consistency. If
Yeah,
any, if you're a good team, that is.
yeah,
And um, you know, I do I realize that this is a limited team. We have 70 new kids on the team. A lot of these kids have been a nice surprise. We can go down the list and say, well, he worked out, he worked out, he worked out. But it seems on offense, which I never thought that Scott would have a problem getting the team to score like
yeah.
he has this year. Now he's not doing the kind of old UCF fast, rise and conquer stuff he did back in 16, 17.
We don't have the team for that yet.
No. But I don't think he's utilizing some of these playmakers maybe as much. Like I said, you've got to,
Well, he probably sees them in practice and realizes. I mean, the playbook isn't as dynamic as I think he wants it to be, and I think it's because I don't think he thinks he has the personnel right now, and I think he's right about that. I'm not going to go against coach. I don't think that 33 loss. I'm not going to really hang on him per se. There are a few things I was kind of questioning what he did, but again, I'm not going to. I think the kids just didn't execute.
but I think you got to get Jade Nixon more involved here and see if he is
Yeah.
actually a playmaker. You know,
Hmm.
he's not going to be here in 4 games.
Exactly.
Might as well
Well,
see what you got with him. Just because like
and
Miles Montgomery's not going to be here either.
no, neither
Uh,
one will be here in
again, I
four
think
games.
Miles is a very serviceable player, but I think at this point you've got to find somebody who can be a playmaker for you
No, I agree.
this late in the season. And yeah, that's one thing that I always Scott could do. He did that so easily when he was here the first time.
Hmm.
He found kids on the team that were playmakers. He recruited them. Now he was here a little earlier than he got here this time. To where
Yeah.
it's kind of where we're a little handcuffed, but um, I think we need to figure out what Jade Nixon can do, and we need to figure out what Taven Jackson's strengths are in this offense, and
Yeah.
and sharpen those. And we need to kind of stay away. Like I think one thing that was kind of what I was reading about that they threw too much scheme at our offense in the off weeks, and that obviously that they didn't comprehend it well. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't pick up on the schemes.
No, and I said, yeah, there was again just a ball of confusion. We can't have that against Houston. We
Right,
can't go in the Houston game not being able to dominate some part of the game, whether running the ball or throwing the ball. We have to be able to again keep Houston's offense off the field, but
right,
we have to score points. And I mean, 21 points, 24 points, I don't think is going to be enough.
right. No, you're right. So we're gonna have to be able to go, you know, pound for pound, as they say, in the
Yeah,
box again. We're gonna have to be able to uh be able to score as much as they can. Because if I think our defense should be able to bounce, but I think we are a better team at home.
yeah,
At least I haven't been proven wrong yet, other than the debacle with Kansas. But that was a kind of we had our chances. We just
yeah.
didn't execute.
Well, again, we could have beat Kansas.
Yeah, we didn't execute when we should
Yeah,
have, but you know, it's one of those things to where uh let's hope that the kids show up. I think we should have a good crowd. I think that we should have a actually good weather for it, right?
yeah. Weather's going to be good. Um, Friday night game.
Yeah,
Again, I don't see what would keep the kids away. To be honest with you, again, we are 4-4. It's not like we're 2-6 or 1-7. So,
right.
and
Four
the
and
kids
four
don't.
with desperate for a win. And how are
Yeah,
we going to play being desperate? You know, because we're in our house, and it's one of those things to where We don't have many of those kids that were here last time we played Houston, right?
Yeah,
Because last couple times we played Houston, now these, we beat Willie Fritz that one year when we beat him in New Orleans with Tulane, and
yeah,
that put us in the driver's seat. And then, I don't want to go back to that, but then we had
yeah,
to play Willie Fritz again,
yeah,
and he made us pay for it the second time. But he is a good coach, and he's one of those guys that's going to have his team ready to play when he
yeah.
shows up on Friday.
No, I think we'll be ready to play. I just, again, it just comes down to consistency and can we take care of business on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think our defense will hurt us, but again, we can't let them get 14, 17 points up again because then that kind of sets the tone. That sets the tone of the game to where you have to really kind of go in everywhere and you've got to throw the ball where they can then, put their defense where they're sitting back, closing down your lanes because then you're not going to really run the ball because you can't because you're too far behind.
Right. Well, yeah, I think with the defense, we should be able to, keep us in the game. It's all going to hinge on offense. What does our
Mm-hmm.
offense do? Are we able to, complete passes more than 150 yards? Because that ain't going to do it.
No,
Is not going. That's not going to do it against Oklahoma State.
no,
Sorry, it won't. We play like that against Oklahoma State, we're going to get a loss to them too.
I agree.
And I guess we need to figure out who can who can play in Division 1 Power 4 football.
Yeah,
And I think at this point, Scott needs to look at this as an evaluation of who do I want here next year.
yeah.
Those obviously who won't be here because they're graduating out or rotate, that's fine. But then you got to sit there and figure out who can play here. Who's making plays, who's being consistent. Not just that they're a good practice player or something like that, because to me it's like I don't know, it's a thing. Do we have to dive back down into the portal again? You know,
Mm,
that might, I don't want to get 70 players. I don't think that would help. But,
no,
I think what Scott has got to figure out of who here is got a future here, you
yeah,
know? And, Taven Jackson's not a guarantee to stay.
no, yeah. I agree.
And I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing at this point, you know, because we do have Kane Archer coming in, which technically, what do you do with that kid if he does come in?
Well,
You
you
know,
let them compete in the spring or summer workouts and see how they.
because I'm hearing Manny Diaz of the Diaz brothers is now slated for the Arkansas job, possibly.
Really, you think he's looking to recruit them?
I don't know. I know who they have there now um, is
Where is
not interested.
is Manny Diaz of the Diaz brothers? Is he at Duke now?
I think he's a Duke, yes.
So is he looking to leave, or they're looking to get rid of him?
I think he's looking to leave, but
Hmm.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
he's
guess
looking to leave, but I don't think he's looking to leave. I think what's happening is he's being wooed by Arkansas.
the team
Yeah,
has more money. Yeah. Well, that would be interesting if Arkansas went after Manny Diaz of the Diaz brothers.
and all joking aside with the the Scarface reference, but nonetheless, Kane Archer, if he does show up, it's one of those things you just throw him in there, kind of like what they did with Mackenzie Milton back in the day.
Yeah.
It, if he's your future, then you got to, get your future up to speed as soon as possible. I think, there's a lot of those kids that we have, like receiver wise, our
Hmm.
youngsters are pretty good,
Yeah.
you know. And then, like I said, you got Day Day Farmer who will be back. You have, um, number 19. I forgot his name, but he's got to become a little bit better of a blocker. But he's not a bad player.
Oh no. Our our young receivers are, like I said, they're doing okay.
Right. They're just trying to get the experience of being in Power Four football. But it
Yeah,
will
Wade
be
and
interesting.
Charles.
Yeah,
Wade and
Peyton
Charles did
Charles.
nothing against. He did nothing against Baylor last week.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, and he's a little undersized, but he does catch the ball. catches the ball, when covered well. So it's hard to believe he had no receptions.
No receptions. Connor Meadows, no receptions.
So these kids aren't getting open, you know.
Yeah, and that was, and again, they're freshmen. They're learning. That's what's the key about it. So it looks like they've got a lot of work to do. And so again, but will that happen in the Houston game? Who knows? I don't think you can really. Again, we're a different team at home than we are on the road.
Well, we're a different team with teams that are not very good either. We have not like Kansas is not a good team, and we couldn't
No.
beat them at home. So, like I said, this is one of those things that when it comes to dealing with Houston, we've got a storied history with these guys, of wins and losses. Houston doesn't need the win as bad. I know they want it, right?
Yeah.
We this is the time is not here for us.
Well, if you got a chance to get 10 wins in the season,
No, I agree. But my
I
point
mean,
being is this happens for us, or this just turns into a lost season.
no, yeah, I agree. And again, going back to Kane Archer, Mark, you still have Dante Carr, who's
Yeah.
also coming in.
Well, yeah, either or. One of those two kids is going to be getting a shot at starting next year, along with Taven Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to figure out that offensive line, And what I mean by that is, it seems to me all the good teams spend money on their line, both lines,
Well, you have to.
and you know, uh, that's where it's going to have to come up to where we're going to have to basically improve that offensive line somehow. And
Mm.
spending money, that's what we're going to have to do.
Well, all of your top 10 teams, Mark, have lines that are good.
Yeah, I agree. Without a good offensive line, you don't pick up, third and ones and things like that, and deal
No.
with, and they're a decent line to where they pass protect well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would sit there and say that we don't really have a problem with pass protecting. We just have the problem when it comes to picking up first downs, running the ball.
Yeah.
And we haven't turned away from trying to do something else at this point, to where I think at this point, anything, we should be trying anything.
Yeah.
It's just not working, on third and short. Stop running the ball.
No, I agree. It's
We don't have the line that can push forward, my opinion.
not no, like I said, I'm all ears. I agree. You can't do something miraculous when you don't have the personnel to do it. And again, we're not going to run for 200 yards with the personnel we have.
Right. I mean,
And the running backs could, but our offensive linemen just don't.
okay.
They don't hold big enough.
Let's go for keys of the game here. What are we going to need to do to win? What do we have to make sure that we kind of don't do to lose?
Well, my first two things: win the turnover battle and win time of possession. If you look at Houston and the two losses they have this year, or in they're struggling. Their time of possession is down. Again, they're very comfortable with their offense. They move the ball well if they can keep it.
Right.
And again, it shows when they do lose. Again, West Virginia, who's not very good, and then you go back to the Texas Tech. They gave up the ball.
Well, that was another thing too, to where I did notice the Houston game. There was nobody in the stands, man. It was the
Hmm.
third, and this is a team that's 7-1 at the time, and you got nobody in those stands.
What do you think the bounce house would be if we were 7-1?
It'd be packed. It would have been
It'd be it'd be it'd
slamboozled in
be
there.
it'd be spilling over.
Slamboozled with a raucous crowd. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, to where that's why it's going to be interesting to see what happens this Friday. It's the first Friday game we've had, I think, since we've been in the Big 12. Usually we play Saturdays only,
Yeah.
to where it's going to be interesting. It is the space game. Um, it's one of those things to where I think the keys of the game is our defense is going to have to be able to show that they can set the precedent on, you know on when they're out there,
Hmm.
then we're going to have to be able to move the ball, throwing and running.
Yeah. Well,
This is one of those things where Scott's going to have to figure out what plays work and what don't. Stay away from the ones that don't work, and figure out how to. I know Mackenzie Milton always talks about you run the same 5, 6 plays. You just have different formations over and over. Like you get 30 different formations that they have no idea what's coming. It's the same play that you ran 3 plays ago. It's just a different formation.
yeah.
Um, some of these things that you're gonna have to get some wrinkles together to really
Well, you
kind of
look
make
at
something happen.
Fritz is a coach, a lot like an old Houston coach, Kim Sutherland. Someone loved to have time of possession, and when he had possession, he did a lot of plays that kind of work like clockwork. Well, I think Fritz does the same thing. If you can keep them off the field, they don't they don't work as well. Again, they get rusty. And
Right,
it kind of showed that when we played them when he was with Tulane. Again, that first time when we beat them, they were down pretty much the entire game. They never had the lead.
right, right.
I think that's also another key. We've got to get a lead in this game.
I don't know if we have the team to do that though, Matt. Not against this team. I just don't know we have that team. And that's
Yeah,
the one thing we're gonna have to sit there and figure out and find out if we are that team that can sit there and put together a complete game finally. We've done it against bad teams.
yeah.
We have.
Well, and I'm saying is you're asking me the keys to win. I think that's the keys we need to win.
And some of these bad teams are playing better now. Like North Carolina won this past week against Syracuse on Friday
Yeah.
night. Then you had West Virginia beat a good, Houston team, which God, we need that win, against a
Mhm.
good Houston team.
No, I agree.
And we flopped completely this past Saturday. So
Yes.
we have not shown that we have kind of gotten better and trajected, like I think after the West Virginia game, I think everybody was really kind of thinking, well, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get some momentum going. And we got no momentum, you know,
No, we
and
regressed.
I don't know how healthy we are after Saturday's game. I don't think we had any kind of injuries.
Well, in his report today, I don't think he talked about anything like he didn't talk about injuries.
Okay, yeah, you probably won't find that. We won't find that out until about Thursday.
Yeah.
But it's something that we're gonna have to stay consistent on offense. Defense, is gonna have to save us probably,
Yeah.
but we're gonna have to be able to score. I'm thinking at least 21 points, at least 21, 24 points.
Oh,
I don't think we
I don't
can.
think 21 is gonna be enough.
Well, that's I think if the defense can get, we're usually, I mean, with the exception of Saturday, I think we've been 20 or under with everybody, right? With the exception of
Yeah.
Kansas and
Mhm.
K-State,
Yeah.
but everybody else has kind of fell in line and been 20 or under.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm saying we need to have 21 points because I don't care if we win by one, just as long as we win.
Yeah. No, but I think if we can, as I said, if we can control the line of scrimmage, meaning possession, I think we can easily get 28 to 35 points in this game. Now,
Well,
mind you, it's a big if, because then controlling possession means we're going to have long drives, which that means Houston more likely to have short drives with like 1, 2, 3s and out, which that's what you want.
right.
You remember they only punted the ball 4 times against West Virginia. West Virginia punted the ball 6 times and still scored 45 points on them.
Yeah, well, they had 4 turnovers to where that's what's going to kill
Yeah,
you right
and
there.
that's it.
We need to, like you said earlier, we're going to have to establish, and win the turnover battle. And if we can establish multiple turnovers, that's really going to help. But otherwise, like I said, I think the crowd needs to be loud, boisterous, and many.
Mm-hmm.
We're
With a
going
home
to
game and a
definitely
team
need
that's
that
coming out
crowd.
of a team that's coming out of the G5 just like we have got to control the line of scrimmage in this game.
Right.
You know,
On
we
both
have to.
sides. Both sides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to
And
control the line.
defense seems to be able to do that to an extent. Offense has not shown me that yet.
No,
Against bad teams,
no,
with the exception of against bad teams.
yeah,
And I think Houston is a better team than what we've seen, when we've won games to where we're going to have to be able to, we're going to, And we've said this before, and it's getting a little tiresome to say, but we're gonna have to play the perfect game. And if we don't,
We're capable of playing a very good game. I don't know about a perfect game yet. We're capable of winning this game.
right. Well, my point is you're capable of winning, playing that perfect game against bad teams. We haven't
Well,
shown
yeah,
we can do that against a decent team.
yeah. I mean, I think we're capable of playing a winning game in this one. Now, I'm not so confident in the Texas Tech or the BYU game, and that's why I said it comes down to really this one and when Oklahoma State comes calling.
Right. Yeah.
Really kind of got to circle the wagons in this one.
Well, this is the space game, you know.
Yeah,
That's one of those things that we keep thinking about. I don't think we've really harped about it enough on the podcast there, but we are 8-0. Hopefully going to go 9-0 because like I said, this is do or die right now.
yeah.
Do or
No, yeah,
die
I agree.
or it gets a whole lot tougher from here on out, and I don't think we're going to a bowl
Mm-hmm.
on Friday.
Well, if we lose Friday, yeah, it goes to doubtful. And then
Very,
you're
very
looking
doubtful at that point.
at best 5-7, or we could be 4-8. Now, do I think this 4-8 team is better than last year's 4-8 team? Actually, I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't really want at this point it's not really worth kind of, but I think you had a coach who was just like he said he was miserable. Well, good, we are all miserable with you. I mean, when you
Yeah,
see you play four quarterbacks and none of them are injured, you have no idea what you're doing at that point. You're just spending a lot of money and wasting everybody's time. That's the reason. I mean, it was nice that you quit because you were awful. And at this point, if he was still around, we wouldn't have fired him. We didn't want to pay him all that money.
yeah.
We would have had to struggle through another year. Just could you imagine what
No.
this team would have been like
Uh-uh.
with him one more year?
Yeah.
Because he would have had no money, so some of these kids were probably left anyway.
And maybe he
And
saw that on the wall,
I know he saw that he's like, it's time to go. You I took a bunch of money from these people and wasted it. So, you know, good luck to him where he's at. And we all know where he's at. But at this point, um, you know, we do have a space game. He did win he did win the space game last year,
Yeah, and the year before.
right?
'Cause remember, we're 2-0 in space games when we were Power
He won
Five
it every year he was
or
there,
Power
4
Four.
years to where
Yeah.
yeah, and Scott won it every year he was there. And Scott
Yep.
was the one who started the space game.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't him who started it, but it was part of his idea to, to
Oh, it helps with
teach
the
people
identity
space.
of the team. And I agree. It's a good idea. I think it's a perfect space game when you have Houston and Central Florida in it.
Right. Which, that's another thing that we talk about. There's certain teams that we should be playing every year in the Big 12. West Virginia's one, Cincinnati's another, and I think Houston's the other.
Yeah.
Let's make it easy.
Mm-hmm.
These are games that we're all close enough to each other to where we should be playing each other you know, every year just because, we know each other well enough. It's a little easier travel wise because I don't know. I haven't checked the schedule, but I think we're going out west 3 times next year.
That's not good.
It's gonna be a tough schedule.
Well, getting back to Saturday, what do you think? Do you have any predictions?
Prediction wise, I'm going to predict, believe it or not, a UCF win.
I like what you're thinking.
I'm
I'm
going to say
going against you.
24-14.
Okay, that's a nice prediction. My prediction is we're not going to win. I'm going to say we're going to lose 28-17.
Hmm. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So that'll be hard to start doing this podcast, knowing that we got 3 games left and 2 of them are going to be pretty tough.
yeah.
But we shall see. All
We
right.
shall see.
All right, man.
So for Knightspeed, I am Matt Johnson,
Yeah, Mark Johnson.
and go Knights.
Charge on.